next match, we should have a cracker because it's the number 2 on the list against the number 3 on that destination Dubai rankings. It is, of course, Tontowi, Ahmad and Liliyana NATSIR up against Liu Cheng and Bao Yixin. Well, as far as the draw is concerned, we can see from quarter-final stage there 4 Chinese pairs and all 8 seeds. Now that is absolutely astonishing, isn't it? It's the only draw here at the Indonesia Open which does feature all 8 seeds at the quarter-final stage. We're going to be concentrating in the second quarter, as I say, with the defending champions. I can tell you, Fischer Nielsen and Pedersen, as you can see there, they've already won their quarter-final against Go Sung-hyun and Kim Ha-na. So that's the draw for the mixed doubles. We await the players onto court.
Liu Cheng-BAO Yixin, China.
There's Bao Yixin, the 22-year-old from Yiyang in Hunan province in the south of China. She and her partner beaten finalists at the Australian Super Series event last week. They have won 1 Super Series title. That was earlier this year, the India Super Series, when appearing in their 3rd Super Series tournament final. So it proved to be 3rd time lucky.
Tontowi, AHMAD-Liliyana, Indonesia.
Well, a mighty roar from the fans for the number 3 seeds, Tontowi, Ahmad and Liliyana NATSIR. Twice previously, they've been in the final of their home event, but as a combination, they have yet to win the title. 4 previous appearances, at least a semi-final, all 4 times. That's consistency for you. So the Indonesians, former world champions, 2013, they won the world title. 3 times All England champions. Up against the young Chinese pair who were bronze medalists at the World Championships last year. Well, the Indonesians couldn't defend their world title last year due to an injury problem to Tontowi Ahmad, which I know was a huge disappointment to them. There they are, 27-year-old Tontowi Ahmad and Liliyana NATSIR, now 29. And they are number 3 on the world ranking. They have been as high as 2. In fact, they spent a total of 60 weeks as world number 2s. Twice beaten finalists here, as I say, back in 2011 and 2012. And as you can see from their win-loss record, well, 6 previous tournaments, 2 finals, winning the Asian Championships, and beaten finalists at the All England Championships. That was their 4th consecutive All England final, having won the 3 previous All England finals. Well, in the first round here, they managed to get revenge for their defeat last week in Sydney against Lee and Chow, beating them in 2 straight games. In yesterday's match, my goodness, it was convincing against Hawakawa and Matsutomo. Well, as far as the Chinese pair are concerned, Liu Cheng, 23 years of age, his partner a year younger. Number 5 in the world ranking. They have been as high as 3. It's been 1 week on the 2nd of April earlier this year as world number 3s, but they have gone up, as we were seeing, 2 places in the Super Series standings, having reached the final of Australia, up to number 3. And now, as far as their win-loss record is concerned, 4 finals from 6 previous tournaments. They've won 2. India and the China Masters Grand Prix Gold. Beaten finalists at the Swiss Grand Prix Gold and last week as well. Now, they had a real tough battle yesterday against the qualifiers from Indonesia. Adistia and Vita Marissa. 3 games needed there. This will be the 6th meeting between the 2 pairs. Previous 5, as you can see, the advantage with the Indonesians. But the last time they met was in the semi-final of the Swiss Grand Prix Gold, and obviously with the Chinese pair having reached the final. They won the last occasion. There are court officials for this one from India and the United States of America. And I was mentioning Vita Marissa Steen, who had played in that second round match against the Chinese pair. I wonder if we'll see her at an Indonesian Open again. What a servant she's been to the sport. 4 times she's been a finalist here at the Indonesian Open, won 2 titles, 2 women's doubles titles, back in 2001 with Diana Lombard and in 2008 with Liliyana NATSIR, who of course we're seeing on court right now.
Yeah, she's been a great help in bringing the younger players forward. Vita Marissa.
Yeah.
Great player.
On my right, Cheng-BAO, China.
Roshali of India are umpire.
Tontowi, AHMAD-Liliyana, NATSIR, Indonesia. BCA to serve. Liliyana, NATSIR. Left on. Play.
So Yixin getting this mixed doubles quarter-final underway. She and her partner, Liu Cheng, the number 5 seeds against the number 3 seeds, Ahmad and NATSIR. Now, Steen, I know that the last time they did play was in that semi-final of the Swiss Grand Prix Gold. I think perhaps we ought to put it a little bit into perspective. It was the week after the All England Premier Super Series event where the Indonesians were in their 4th consecutive final. They lost the title that they'd held for 3 years. I think there was an accumulation of tiredness and perhaps a build-up of emotional. I'm not making excuses for them, but I wonder if them playing here on home soil will make a bit of a difference today.
It's going to be a different pair today, and the motivation is going to be sky high. Looking very much forward to this match. When we saw the lineup for today, looking so much forward to see the battle between Liliyana NATSIR and Yixin at the net. Both of them got hard-hitting partners, and it's interesting to see if Yixin can challenge Liliyana NATSIR on the front court. That's definitely necessary if the Chinese are going to come out victorious of this match.
Yes, both the women on court, I think, read the game so well, don't they? They have a good understanding of where the shuttle's going to come, where they've got to hit to.
Definitely, but we also have to say that the Indonesians, as a team, got off to a fantastic start with the win of Kohli and Maheswari here, and it should be inspiring for the rest of them.
Yeah, that's interesting because, of course, we say that. We were talking about that in the Sudirman Cup, weren't we? But that was a team competition. And for it to affect the mood of all the Indonesian players in individual competition, that's a real insight to hear that it also affects here.
It does, because you sort of, you follow how it's going for your teammates. How is the sort of emotion, how is the environment in the team? Are there happy players coming back home from the hall, or are there sad faces? And it's also a sign of whether we've done our practice well. Are we well prepared?
Yeah.
And so far this has been a great tournament for the Indonesian players.
Yeah, in our upcoming matches, we've got, in both the singles qualifiers, players who've come right through the qualifying. And it really is astonishing. I think it's almost a new dawn. It's not the changing of the guard, because, you know, this Indonesian mixed doubles pair is still world class. Of course they are. They're number 3 in the world at the moment. And of course the Indonesian men's doubles pair, former world champions Ahsan and Setiawan, same sort of situation, but we're seeing a new generation emerging. That's landed clearly in.
Yeah, and they've had, I think it was 5 men's doubles pairs in the second round.
Yeah.
And a number of women's singles qualified as well. Linda Winifred-Nitri beat Tai Su Ying and so on. So they've been making good results all week.
Yeah.
Even Tommy Sugiarto, who unfortunately had to withdraw yesterday, but managed to beat Lindan in the first round. So, so they're on a run, Indonesia, and it's up to partly Bao Yixin and Li Cheng to stop them.
Well, this is 5 straight points for the Indonesians. Oh yes, that's good play from Liu Cheng. Liu Cheng, of course, was in 2 finals last week in Sydney. Sadly for him, he lost them both.
Yeah. And lost out in the qualifier here in men's doubles. Of course, could only travel from Australia on Monday, and it's quite a long travel there, 8-9 hours at best. So
Service fault called.
Service fault called.
Service over.
Struck above the waist.
7.
Elaine Kong from America, our service judge. Well, Bao Yixin, I can tell you, is asking for the shuttle to be changed. Indonesians obviously quite happy with this. Just won 7 of the last 8 points. Oh, lucky net cord.
Service over. 5-8.
of course also a lot at stake for Liu and Bao. Not only this match, but most people perhaps doesn't realize that they're in a fierce competition against their own teammates in order to qualify for the Olympics.
Yeah.
I see Jiang Nan and Bao Yunlei as, Zhao Yunlei as automatic qualifiers, as clearly the best pair in the world right now. And then a very sharp competition between this pair here and Xu Chen and Ma Jin. So
Xu Chen and Ma Jin, of course, are the number 2 seeds here at this year's Indonesian Open, and they were beaten finalists last year at this event. No, he's quick, isn't he? Liu Cheng.
And a victory here against perhaps the strongest competition outside of China to a world championship. That would definitely boost the chances of these 2 Chinese players of going to Rio.
Don't, okay?
Roshali. Oh, India, the umpire just saying, don't delay.
Fantastic read there.
Yeah.
NATSIR. And the technical skills as well. It's not about just reading it. A lot of players might have read it, but it doesn't have the technical skills to sort of kill it in the backhand.
Short.
Yeah.
Service over.
He's got that heavy strapping on his right elbow again, as Liu Cheng. Oh, that's a clever return of serve. Goodness me.
It's so important to mix it up. Not always going for the mid-court area, but sometimes playing just the short ones. Otherwise, at this level, the gaps will be closed. Great shot there from Bao Yixin.
Yeah.
Service over. 10 all. Black.
Look at that lovely defence. Brilliant. Yeah. Very well played from Bao Yixin. And it means that she and her partner have the advantage, albeit just 1 point, here at the mid-game interval.
Bao and Liu also got a small competition going on with Joachim Fischer and Christina Pedersen of Denmark, because right now it's the Danes that holds the number 4th ranking in the world, but the Chinese pair is only a couple of 100 points after them, and we know that the Danes won here last year, so they have 11,000 points to defend. And that might mean that the Chinese would be able to overtake that 4th spot and get the semi-final seeding for the World Championship, which would ensure that they won't meet their compatriots before at least the semi-final. So there's a lot at stake at this match.
Yeah, what a good point. So just 1 point in it.
11-10.
Oh, got in each other's way. But that was clever from the Chinese pair, forcing that confusion. Well, it's interesting. We've talked about the last time that these two pairs met each other. Of the previous 5, we know that the Chinese have won 2, and it was the last 2 meetings. Yeah. So again, I wonder if that's a sign that they've just started to really make inroads in world terms. And I'm thinking about your comments about getting that semi-final seeding position for the World Championships and so on.
I think it's a pair for the future, and we've seen them over the last 10 days, and Liu Cheng, he's just so fast
Yeah.
He's a little raw yet, you could say, in the sort of tactical game, adapting to the circumstances, but he's still very, very strong, physical, and sort of so much quicker on his feet than most of the other players. I think the only one who sort of matches him is Ko Sung-hyun and perhaps Shin Baek-chol of Korea. Clever play. Clever play from NATSIR. The Indonesians should sort of stay away from the fast-paced game unless they're in control of it.
Real hesitation between the two Indonesian players once again.
14.
I think Ahmad thought that NATSIR was a little slow in getting out of his way. Or I thought she was going to return it.
Good rally.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that sort of half chance going forward from Tontowi Ahmad is risky.
It's risky, but he knows that the Chinese will be reluctant lifting because of the drift going along the court. And I think the Indonesians, they have to play this sort of front court game. If they can play on the first 60% of the court, they have a great chance of winning this match. Because if it neutralizes the speed of Liu Chung,
It's another very, very good rally.
yeah. A good rally for the Chinese, not only because they won it, but because they got the Indonesians moving and got NATSIR to work from the back court. And even though she's very capable as a backcourt player, as you mentioned, Jill, she used to play ladies doubles with Vita Marisa, amongst others. That's not her favorite spot to be on the court.
Once again, there's a disagreement about whether to change the shuttle. Oh, that's good from BCA.
Service over. 15, 18.
Look at that. Disguise first of all, and then the follow-up. Played to perfection. Points away from this opening game. It's a good serve. Well, initially, the sideline judge, I thought, was indicating out. There's no way it was out on the sideline. It was out on the back line. So 5 game point opportunities for Ahmad and NATSIR. One will do. 21-15. This the final point of the opening game. A return of serve pushed wide from Cheng. Yeah, quite clear to see what he was trying to do, play to the mid-court area. 20 minutes for that opening game. And the number 3 seeds from Indonesia. Well, 6 previous tournaments this year, semi-final in all of them. Are they about to keep that run going? That would be impressive.
Very interesting to see the second game here where the Chinese pair perhaps can open up the court a little bit more, but very interesting to see if they can sort of control the shuttle when they try to do it, because we've seen that it's very much possible to sort of put it long even on the far side of the court, playing up against the drift.
Yeah, Yixin giving a fair amount of instruction there. She, of course, is a former winner of the Indonesian Open in the women's doubles 2 years ago. Won with Cheng Shu. It was one of the last tournaments that I ever saw Cheng Shu play.
Yeah.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds. Liliyana, you're serving.
Some sort of heat cream, do you think that was?
I don't know. Could be.
Second game. Love all. Play. Service over. 1 love. Play.
Oh, look at that defense. Overdone it. Yeah, quite obvious the tactics, so.
1 all.
Ah, the mascots here.
Yeah, they have a little bit easier time lifting on this side of the court. Yixin and Cheng.
And that's a super return of serve too.
But it's still not advisable to play too defensive, because we know that Ahmad is perfectly capable of attacking.
Oh. Dissecting the Chinese.
So it's got to be flat drives
2-all.
instead of lifts to sort of keep the court open.
Service over. 3-2.
Well, he's got his elbow strapping on the shoulder, but he still thunders down the smashes.
Seems like it's to prevent him from overstretching his elbow or taping his gun on there.
Service over. 3-all. Service over.
There's a little bit of talking to do there because sometimes they're standing almost next to each other. Ahmad and NATSIR.
Black.
My instinctive reaction was that Ahmad should have gone back for that.
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah. He got too greedy. I thought that NATSIR could sort of
What?
set him up for a winner at the net. And I actually think that if NATSIR is at the back, she would do well if she sort of took a little bit of the pace off her smashes. Not that much.
No. Oh, clever. Clever, clever, clever. What a shot.
6-3.
Looked as if she was going to lift the shuttle bow, Yixin. Look at this.
Yeah.
And then somehow plays an inside-out
Yeah.
net shot into the open space.
Very
Played it to
efficient.
perfection. Look at that. Nigh on perfect.
And in my opinion, that's some of the skills that sort of is the difference between the good female net players and the extremely good net players. We've seen Zhao Yonglei, we've seen Ma Jin, Liliyana NATSIR make these kind of shots.
Yeah.
That is something special. That is something extra.
Black.
Well, the Indonesians need to be careful here because I just sense that the Chinese pair are beginning to really find their way here in this second game.
Get confident in the game plan for the second game here.
Service over. 4-7.
Well, you don't get much better than that, do you? You coaches love that serve return and third shot.
Yeah.
the way that Liliyana NATSIR played that third shot.
And it just seems so easy.
Yes.
Black.
Overdone it.
Service over. 8-5.
And they have to be really, really focused and disciplined. AHMAD and NATSIR.
Quick, quick, quick. Tontowi, quick, quick. Yeah. Yeah. Fast, fast. No water, no water.
I have to say, I don't like the rule that the players that is not serving can go out and sort of towel down and so on. It creates a lot of disturbance when the umpire has to call them back on court, which they do almost every single time.
Yeah.
Don't drink water, take a towel and put it right and so on. So I really don't like it. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Now, was part of that because NATSIR was going forward and therefore a threat, and therefore the Chinese pair felt they had to lift it again?
Yeah, and it's just sort of realizing that, hey, we can't win from the defense. We can survive in the defense for like 2, 3, 4 shots perhaps, but then we have to do something. We have to get ourselves in a better position. That's why.
7, 8.
And that could be devastating for the Chinese, having a 7-3 lead on their way to creating a decisive gap, but now the Indonesians are back in it.
Oh, my word. What a smash. What great movement back as well.
9, 7.
Fantastic movement. Two little steps and then one big jump.
Yeah.
Black.
More plates.
10, 7.
Well, a 4-point advantage at the mid-game interval here in game number 2 for the Chinese pair, Liu Cheng and Yixin. Well, the serve was actually deflected by hitting the top of the tape. And that perhaps the reason why it wasn't the best of returns. All of their 5 previous meetings,
Court 1.
3 times it's
20
gone the full
seconds.
distance.
Court 1. 20 seconds.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if we have a third game here either.
No, neither would I. I think it's more or less cooking up to it. If the Chinese get their
11,
sort of defense
7.
fixed,
Black.
they stand a very good chance.
Excellent return.
8, 11.
Now, how many times have we seen that already? Well, we've only had a match and a bit so far, haven't we?
Yeah.
We must have seen that at least 5 or 6 times, have we? Net cord on the return of serve.
Oh.
Oh, that's wild from Yixin.
Black.
3 quick points.
Yeah.
Again, seems the Chinese are working quite hard for their points and committing some quite easy errors.
Oh. Wow. That was a golden opportunity for BCA Yixin. And she really does not miss many of those.
But she was smiling going backwards. And,
Yeah.
and I remember when I started as a coach, I was a little bit irritated on players that sort of take it seriously, man. You made a bad mistake. But it was actually quite good because the player thought that, hey, he can never make such a mistake again.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I made it.
Yeah.
I tend to laugh at it a little bit. So, but instead of sort of getting too many negative emotions attached to it, and this time she got it.
Yeah. Well, that's the first point they've won since the mid-game interval. The first 5 went in favour of the Indonesians.
I often wonder in these 1-minute intervals if the coaches try to sort of say too much.
Oh, that's lovely. That's super play from Liliyana NATSIR. What do you mean, overcomplicate it with too many instructions, or?
There's only 1 minute, and then you have to play again, and you got to have your mind focused on the game. You cannot have your mind focused on what was it the coach said and wanted me to do, wanted us to do. Are there too many changes and so on? Especially if you're leading 11-7, things are going pretty well.
It's gone long.
Yeah.
Service over. 13.
So they can move pretty close to the net. Cheng and Bao Yixin.
Oh, what an interception. Well, his timing on that had to be perfect. And indeed it was.
It was a flying interception.
Incredible. Eight of the 10 points since the mid-game interval.
8-2 since the mid-interval, and that's why I feel that Liu Yong has to sort of consider, did I say too much? Because it's not like they played really bad. It's just easy mistakes with where they've seemed unfocused.
Yeah.
Taking all the pace out of the game.
Now, I wonder, was that Tontowi AHMAD's wife we just had a glimpse of there? Tontowi AHMAD, of course, got married on the 2nd of August last year. Good rally. I'm surprised at the amount of confusion we've seen today between the two Indonesian players with shot down the centre.
Yeah.
In between them both. It's a number of times. Normally, They're very assured as to who's going for what. Is that the longest rally? 29? Certainly had one at 27 in the opening game.
I haven't really been paying attention to that.
Yep, I think it was the longest rally. Now, once again, difference of opinion as to whether the shuttle should be changed or not. Oh, that's nice, that's clever. Good awareness. Good serve. Well, you can feel the tension, can't you? Yeah. It's so desperately close.
And now it's really nice to have one game in the bag.
Yeah.
Sort of lets you take a little bit more chances than your opponents.
Let's put it wide. And the Indonesians 2 points away from a 7th consecutive semi-final this year. Yeah, it was the right idea from Liu Cheng. Take a bit of pace out of it. Just wrong execution, but the execution of that was superb. 3 match point opportunities for the number 3 seeds from Indonesia. Pushed it long, and second opportunity is converted. The 2-time beaten finalists here at the Indonesia Open, Tontowi, AHMAD and Liliyana NATSIR, are through to the semi-final. once again. Well, the umpire trying to be heard above the celebrations from the fans. 21-15, 21-18. And I have to say, from that mid-game interval, the former world champions were absolutely superb. Yeah, I appreciate that there was several easy errors from the young Chinese pair, but the intensity with which Ahmad and NATSIR played after that mid-game interval was very impressive. Their confirmation of the score, 44 minutes, and the Indonesians through to the semi-final. Well, 2 matches so far, and Indonesian success in both of them. Next on court will be men's singles, so a chance for us to look at the Destination Dubai rankings as they stand at the moment. Well, Chen Long won in Sydney, consolidated his position at top of those standings. Up 6 places went his teammate Wang Zhiming after his quarterfinal, and also Tian Haowei, making it 5 Chinese players in that top. No, I make it 5 now. What was the difference there? Not quite sure. Anyway, there we go. This is the draw for the men's singles, and I can tell you, as you can see, Kashyap Parupalli of India is into a 3rd game and 5 points up against the world champion and world #1 Chen Long. Jan-O Jorgensen, of course, is the defending champion. We're going to be seeing his match in just a moment. But take a note of the two Indonesian players at quarter-final stage. One is 17 years of age, the other is 18. They've both come through the qualifying. And when we were talking a little bit earlier about the fact that perhaps it's a new dawn for some Indonesian players, those are the two that I had particularly taken notice of. Ginting and Christie, two names for the future.
And now, please welcome Jan-O Jorgensen, Denmark.
So Jan-O Jorgensen, number 2 on the Destination Dubai rankings at the moment, and I do apologise for my little senior moment just now. There were, of course, just 4 Chinese players in the top 10. This man swapped places after his semi-final in Sydney with Kento Momota, who had won the Singapore Super Series, becoming the youngest winner of the men's singles in any Super Series tournament ever. The 17-year-old qualifier, Jonathan Christie. What a tournament he's had. I think we can say with absolute certainty he'll go up the world rankings after this performance this week. This, we believe, is his first ever Super Series tournament. And here he is in the quarter-final. Jan-O Jorgensen, who of course won the title here last year, beating Kenichi Tago in the final, having beaten Chen Long in the semi-final. And Chen Long is in big trouble. Kashat Parupali playing the match of his life.